Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 9 of SFR Season 18, and tonight we arrive at the windswept streets of Azerbaijan's capital city for the infamous Baku Grand Prix circuit. We are deep into the heart of the championship now, and the pressure is only rising, much like the concrete walls here in Baku. After a stunning and emotional race in Miami, the momentum has taken a significant turn. The rain came down, the tensions ramped up, and in the end, it was Fireblaze who finally banished the demons of misfortune to take his first win since Season 16 in Mexico Grand Prix. After so many close calls, near misses, and the heartbreaks, he climbed back to the top step of the podium with a faultless weather masterclass, delivering a performance that could redefine the course of this season for his championship. But just as the champagne dried, the championship picture tightened. Jensen, the model of consistency all year, continues to lead the way on 160 points with 4 wins and 6 podiums, but his rivals are closing in. Fireblaze's triumph lifts him to 146 points, 14 points behind Jensen, his teammate, and behind him is Volochyov Jr. Rising Star has just left the session, who just sits on a whisker back with 139 points, with a string of high finishing results and 3 pole positions to his name. Then there's Mo and Nemo behind us, who came into Miami as a serious title threat but suffered a cruel blow from a game glitch that saw him fall from the lead to dead last. He sits fourth in the championship with 136 points, with a pit stop blunder that definitely deprived of his race, but needing a bounce back here in Baku to reassert himself in the title hunt. And the story doesn't end there. Behind them, Harry Kane is provided to be the season's breakthrough name, consistently inside the top 5 with 2 podiums, while Nico Rosberg, who's not racing full time, has already won twice this season after starting last on the grid in Japan and Bahrain. But unfortunately, he'll not return to here tonight because crossplay is off, and I believe he's on PC. However, though, let's switch our attention towards the Constructors' Championship. Alpine lead the charge on 306 points, with Ferrari keeping them honest on 275. A kick Sauber further down on 173, but with 5 rounds left to go, nothing is settled. A DNF or a 1-2 could definitely swing the standings dramatically. And let's talk about Baku as well, because this track can be very difficult, especially in a tight chicane there coming towards the castle section. I'm just trying to see who's on a lap time or who's currently on an out lap. So let's go on board with Jensen because he's the first one on the circuit, and Aston Martin is just behind him. But one of the most exhilarating and possibly unpredictable circuits on the F1 calendar, except the season, of course, where Verstappen took a dominant Grand Slam victory. It's located right at the heart of Azerbaijan's capital city. The Baku City Circuit is a brutal hybrid, a high-speed street track with cars that hit over 350 kilometers an hour on the main straight, but also thread the needle through the medieval castle section as well. The narrowest piece of track in Formula 1, it's unforgiving. One mistake here can end your race instantly as well. On board with the Alpine and Jensen, he has got a car right behind him, so I wonder if the car behind is just going to borrow a bit of slipstream. But back on the track is Yusuf Shabayek. He's back, ladies and gentlemen, a driver who raced in Division 2 and took wins, and also teammates with Yusuf Farouk in Division 2. A McLaren has got off the circuit already, and that's Harry Kane who finds the escape road down there, so hopefully he doesn't do that on his final lap. As we head through the 90-degree left-hander of Turn 2 with the DRS wide open as we head down towards Turn 3. Another tricky heavy breaker zone as we see plenty of people crash here as well. Getting super close, but he may be touching the wall there. Brushes the wall. The exit was Jensen as we head through Turn 4. And I thought for 1 second he might do a Franco Colapinto by smashing into the wall. As we now head through, as he hits the wall again, Turn 6 and Turn 7, a slow speed chicane. As now we head down towards Turn 8, it's also a difficult part of the circuit as well. Down to the gears we go, and he validates on the entry as well. So Jensen validates on the entry towards Turn 8, and he pulls the left-hand side to let the Aston Martin go, as he knows he's right behind him to start flying lap. That could be President Elite, who's on the flying lap in the Aston Martin. He is. The Swedishman negotiates his way around the castle section as Rising Star has joined back the session on board with President Elite as he heads down towards Turn 16. A corner which has caught many people out in the past, especially Antonio Giovinazzi and Lawrence Stroll back in 2021, and Charles Leclerc has been caught out too, crashing towards Turn 16. Plenty of people have crashed around here in Baku, a notoriously difficult circuit in Formula 1, and I'm pretty sure that loads of people will fall victim to this circuit, depending which corner, because all corners are difficult. It's just so easy to make contact with the wall. As the DRS is wide open for Elite, as he makes his way down towards the long back straight, it's going to be a 38.5, and that's not a bad banker at all from the Aston Martin driver. Can he maintain that as we see more cars cross the line to start or complete their first round of flying laps. Looks like many people have invalidated or made mistakes as Junior goes up into P2 in the forward with a 38.8 and he returns behind President Elite in first place. Can Elite finally get his first win / podium of the season as well, because it's been a long time coming. I dare say he's one of those drivers where he has got pace, but unfortunately it just drops backwards as well. I think like with the wrong strategy, etc., or just falling backwards in the field. He is quick, but consistency needs to go with it. I think a Red Bull has become a cropper down there, and that is DJ, who has hit the wall in the castle section where Leclerc and Robert Kubica crashed in 2019 with the famous quote, "I am stupid," from Charles Leclerc. He also hit the wall again in turn 16 in I think he qualified. It was qualified indeed, because we had 6 red flags. That's the most red flags in F1 history around here in Baku. The land of fire as Samit there swoops through in towards the castle section, towards the top of the hill he goes. He's also had a torrid season, has Samit, so far here in season 18. His last podium was at the Brazilian Grand Prix, I think, in season 15. As he heads down towards turn 16 he goes, just want to brush and kiss the barriers on the outside, as Fireblazers goes up into P4 in the RP with a 39.171 as Jarlin fits behind him and Yusuf Shabayek in P6. I remember Mick Schumacher spinning there too. Was it Formula 1? I think it was 2022 where he spun there, or 2021. I think it could have been an F2 where Schumacher spun there, because I definitely remember him spinning around there at one point. It could have been an F2, because I don't think he did it in F1. Here comes Samit towards the line. He goes. Let's see what lap time he could do in the Williams. He goes up into P6 with a 39.4, just a few hundreds clear of Yarman in P7 as Harry Kane goes up into P4 in the McLaren. I think I do remember him winning back in Baku quite a few seasons ago, but it was him and Beremi who were splitting the strategies. And I remember as well, who was it? It was Jargon who got a podium here too after a fantastic drive. ODB Jargon, who used to be a Div 1 driver, but the Norwegians, majority of Norwegian drivers are not here tonight, unfortunately. I think Harry Kane is I can dare say Harry Kane is the only Norwegian driver in Division 1, which is shocking to say, because there used to be so many, wasn't there, back in season 16, 15, 14, 13, you name it, season 17 as well. But it looks like Harry Kane is the only Norwegian driver as right to start, double locks up and goes off the track there as he struggles to find a breaking point and unfortunately returns to the circuit as Adam goes up into P13 in the Mercedes with a 41.183, and Havish is up into P12 in the Williams then. So it looks like President Elite sets the pace ahead of both Ferrari drivers, whilst Jensen does a second lap in the Alpine, and he pops the Alpine up into P5 just behind Harry Kane there and ahead of his teammate Fireblazers, who are currently fighting. I can't really see, sorry. There we go. I couldn't really see because of the sun in the background, but there we go. Fireblazers in P6, Jensen's in P5. Glock returns and he pulls that kick Sauber up into P7 ahead of Samid in 8th place. Not a bad attempt there for Glock or Samid, quite close towards Jensen and Fireblazers as those two slowly pick up the pace this season. Glock scored his first podium, I think, since season 15 at the Bahrain Grand Prix this season. What a race that was for him as well. Both kick Saubers delivering on their day, but Nordis isn't here again, unfortunately, tonight, so he will not score any points for Sauber, where Glock has to do the hard work. I don't think Sauber were here last week either in Miami. Raz the Star heads back into pit lane then, after not completing his first lap time, so he struggles to get off the mark there. Down in P16 as he flies to the pit lane. That pit lane entry is really scary, isn't it? Like, we saw the drivers, as we see the Williams lose an end plate, unfortunately for him, but that pit lane entry, you arrived there at such speed. I'm surprised those guys don't hit the wall. It looks like the guys are going to hit the wall every time it enters the pit lane, and it was just breathtaking, really. Every time you went to a board, you had to just step back a little bit, because it looks like the drivers were heading straight towards the wall, but luckily didn't, with that small chicane there as well. I hope they change it, because there could be a massive incident one day there too, with somebody like, I don't know, if somebody makes contact going towards the pit lane, but hopefully it will never happen. Here we go on board with Samit there, coming to the part where we saw Pierre Gasly and Brendan Hartley become a cropper down here in 2018 when Hartley had a puncher. Oh, Samit there took a lot of curb, and you could hear the wheel spin as well underneath the car as he applied the throttle. He's currently 4/10 up. This is a decent lap time here from Samit. He could be just in the 1:38 or maybe a 39.0, depending how much time he can find in the last sector, which is basically just a straight, but turn 16 as well, you've got to negotiate your way around. Isaac Hadjar who we didn't really see what happened to him during the race because there was no replays. He just dropped down the order. I'm not quite sure what's going on with F1 directors these days. It's a 38.9, but Isaac Hadjar, the exit of turn 16, lost momentum, and that's why Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc were all over the back of him. And I was watching the replays as well because on F1 YouTube channel there's like highlights and replays, etc., which we don't really see on the main feed. But when you watch those, you're thinking to yourself, why is some of the overtakes and some of the action not shown on the main screen, or at least be replayed? Because that gave extra context to see what happened during the race. Harry Kane's been disqualified from the qualifying session, and he's parked in turn 3, which is a shame there. So he might be doing a last to first if he can. Depends if he can do a Nico Rosberg, but unfortunately he can't. It is a low downforce circuit, this one is, but it can be very difficult as well, especially towards turn 8 to turn 11. The crown jewel of chaos, the downhill braking zone that catches a lot of people out as well. And Yusuf Shabayek makes his way towards the top of the castle section. Not quite sure where he has been recently, but luckily he's back. And I think he's coming in a flying lap as he heads down towards the highest part, the elevation change on the top of the track. He goes very wide there, so not the optimum racing line you expect, as he crosses the curb towards turn 15, and now we're headed down towards the end of the middle sector. He is currently up by 0.3 of a second there. It is super easy to go out wide there as well, or just spin the car up. Take a lot of speed through there, and if you misjudge it and take too much curb, you can find yourself skid on the curb. Kimi Räikkönen back in 2018 became a cropper there too, because he was on course for pole, but unfortunately just dropped to the exit of turn 16. And here we go then, powering our way down towards the straight. What lap time is it going to be for the Red Bull driver? The Egyptian goes towards P9, or stays P9. So unfortunately for him, he stays where he is for the time being. But our main competitors, Pursuit Elite is still first place. There he is. There's the two Mercedes, as they give each other a nice slipstream, but too close for comfort. But Elite will get a decent slipstream at the back of both Mercedes. This could be a hand in for him. And here we go then. Moen Nemo goes quicker with a 38.2, but here comes Elite as he crosses the line right now, and it's P2 still. He did not improve, did he, in the final sector as Mercedes gets on the way, but where did the other Mercedes go? Adams is still P14 as Jarov goes up into P7. That mighty slipstream, he goes off the track in turn 1, where we saw Isaac Hadjar and Pepe Marti go off in towards turn 1 last year in the Cab Boss Racing. I'm not quite familiar with the F2 cars, but they had a brake issue, both Isaac Hadjar and Pepe Marti, and both of them are the Grand Prix. But so far it is Ferrari on top with Elite in P2. Great qualifying session once again from Elite in second place, really showing what he could do this season, and I dare say he's done better than expected, so hopefully he can keep it up and try and get his first podium of the season. The Swedishman, who progressed up towards F1 after being in Division 2, and currently doing a good job so far. Here comes Velocio Jr., but I think he's not on a flying lap, is he? Nope, he is not on a flying lap, stays in P3. Do you remember when Nick de Vries as well raced here? I think he crashed in turn 3 and he was out in the first lap, wasn't he? As Fireblaze goes up into P2 with a 38.453 in the Alpine, but Nick de Vries appeared here, didn't he, in 2023? It seems like a long time ago since Nick de Vries raced. It just seems like a forgotten driver nowadays, isn't he? I remember him making contact in the wall at turn 6 and turn 7 and out of the Grand Prix. He became a copper here plenty of times. I remember Daniel Ricciardo crashing there too at turn 3, and Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly too. Plenty of people have fell foul to the walls here than at turn 3. Daniel Ricciardo was one of them when he crashed there, Pierre Gasly as well, and Esteban Ocon and Kimi Räikkönen made contact in towards turn 3 back in 2018. That particular part of the section. But Fireblades up into P2 with Jensen. Jensen is 4/10 up, but I think he's done his lap time. He has. So that means that 4/10 means he did a 39.0, then did a 38.6. Usually I get confused by that, but of course he's 1 second down in that in the first sector. And let's see what the Racing Bull driver could do. Headed down towards that tricky section in towards 15. I don't think he's on the fly lap, is he? He backs off for the time being. Gags KK coming towards the end of the castle section. Of course, the Division 2 driver headed now towards the end of turn 15. And let's see what he could do in the Aston Martin. He does a 40.831, a 10th behind Adams and 2/10 behind MDJ in the Red Bull in 13th place there. And we'll see what Gaz could do. He's 6/10 up. This could be a 40.2. But it all depends, though, how much time you can find in the last sector, which is basically one corner and a long straight. Turn how many? I think it's turn 18 or 19, or flat out should be nowadays in Formula One. Should have no problem going flat out through there. He goes up into P12 in the Aston Martin then, so he does find a bit more time in the last sector by 10th of a second. He cuts the curve. Oh, he hits the wall in towards turn 1 and bounces in towards the exit turn 1. So he hits the inside wall and also the outside wall, 2 for good measure. As the timer ticks down here in qualifying, it is Moenimo on pole position here at the Baku Grand Prix. And remember, he'd blown his strategy back in Miami. I think he started P2 back in Miami too, because it was Fabulous into pole. Then Moenimo was the one that unfortunately ruined his own strategy by doing into hard. Sometimes it's just so easy to forget to switch it to the hard compound tyres in a high pressure situation. He was hoping to do the one-stop strategy by going into hard. Now, in hindsight, it looked like a good thing to do because other people had to convert to a 2-stop, but at the same time, though, he completely ruined it by doing into hard. He also won the race too by a minute. But of course, the game glitched and he did a 2-second fast lap as well. I think somebody left the session for that to happen, and that's why there was that glitch and bug earlier on too. We got some news on Hurricane. So he said that his wheel just disconnected and tried to restart, and he got disqualified. What a shame for the Norwegian driver here in Baku. He's a driver who's won in Baku as well, has Hurricane. I do miss the old races as well, season 14, 15, 16, where there used to be so much competition between the drivers as well. I don't think we had yes, we did. Martin says 2 wings is the meta around here. Tyre wear could also be a factor in this race as well. So watch out for tyre wear. People might struggle, especially at a low grip surface like this. It's just so difficult. Glock heads towards turn 2. The 90-degree left-hander, but he's quite high on the EOS, so hasn't really used a lot. I don't think you want to be using a lot of EOS already on your straight as well. As we head down towards turn 3, braking hard in towards this corner. Let's see how it takes it. Just kiss the apex on the entry there, uses all the chock on the outside and brushes the wall 2 in towards 4, down to second gear, back in the power once again for Glock as he used a bit of battery to try and boost his way out of the slow speed corners. Here we go, 3/10 up of the first sector. Good sign already for Glock. Be 3/10 up, but there's a massive traffic jam in the last sector there. So I really hope those guys in the last sector behave and don't trip over themselves, and neither of them get a 5-place group penalty for holding the other up. Oh, look at Glock there. Fast and aggressive through, taking a lot of speed as well. I noticed he likes to use a lot of low gears, and it does become a factor with your controller because on controller it's a little bit difficult to use higher gears through fast speed corners, but the lower gears suits him well in towards second. We don't really see a lot of people take second gear in qualified, but maybe for the race, for the extra stability and the rotation. Glock, however, out of turn 16, 3/10 up, and let's see, will this put him in the 38s? He needs to find a bit more time in this last sector, does Glock, to ensure himself inside the 38, where Samit is right now in P6. Good effort from Samit, by the way, in 6th place. He's done 3 laps on those set of soft compound tyres, but here comes the kickstart by Glock. As he makes his way towards the line, he goes up into P6, and he does set a 38, and he just pips Samit as well by a few hundredths of a second there, as Samit is currently on a flying lap. Every single driver so far is on a flying lap, but unfortunately this man is 2/10 down in the first sector, so his lap time has been ruined already as Fireblaze makes his way through towards turn 4 right now in this right-hander, second gear corner again, back in the power once again. The Alpine of Jensen's broke his wing. Jensen's out qualified, but look at Fireblaze, he's up by 400ths of a second as he classed the curve. The car goes airborne for a few seconds there as we head down towards turn 8 we go. This is where Nico Hulkenberg hit the wall in 2018 and got himself a broken suspension, as now here comes Fireblaze towards the castle section where we saw Lewis Hamilton in 2016 break his suspension as well, started at 10th place, and I believe he finished in P5 on that day too. And Nico Rosberg won the first Baku race in 2016 as Fireblaze continues down towards turn number 16. This track has got plenty of history despite its short lifespan around here. It got first introduced in 2016 and it's been around ever since then. Fireblaze is only up by 1700 of seconds, so not enough to take pole position. But Moanimo is in the pit lane, so he can't extend his qualifying lap, unfortunately for him. He can't raise the bar, but let's see what other people can do around him. There's a few people around us giving each other a slipstream. Here comes the Williams. He goes up into P5. That's Samid. Great effort there from Samid. But here comes Fireblaze. As he makes his way towards line, he goes. What's it going to be? It's P2. He does improve, but not his position. Jensen broke his wing as he heads back off into towards the pit lane. As President Elite is up into P3. And that's his lap time. Done and dusted as well. So Moanimo is on pole once again, but the Ferrari boy, he's still searching for his first win of the season. Can he get it? Both Alpines have been looking so strong so far. Both of them have been capitalising from both of the Ferrari's mistakes as well. The strategy has been better. They've been more proactive than reactive. That's a good phrase that Veloce Jr. used. He used the word proactive, then reactive. Is that how they're going to be today? Here in Baku, be more proactive than reactive? Because both RP drivers have got good pace on all tyres, and it really helps them towards the end of the Grand Prix when they have better tyre life, a better offset, and hunt down the guys ahead. Ferrari this season have got no wins, they've got podiums. Both of their drivers got 3 podiums apiece. That's 6 podiums they've both got together in the Ferrari camp. But here we go then. It is Moanimo pole ahead of Fireblaze in second place. President Elite is in P3 with another strong qualifying to add to his tally. With Jensen in P4, Samid in P5 ahead of Veloce Jr. Glock is 7th ahead of Yusuf Shabayek on his return. Rising Star P9 ahead of Yoram. And Yusuf Farouk up into P11 ahead of Gags, MDJ, Havish, Adams and Hurricane, who will start down in last place due to his wheel connection issues. And that's the end of qualifying. Hopefully we'll have a good race around here in Baku. The Land of Fire, as they call it. If you guys liking the stream, make sure to like and subscribe to SFR. Obviously, the attendance has been good as it has been previously, but hopefully we can get it back towards its peak days. Every single league has a little bit of a dip, but I really hope that they could come back stronger and get the attendance where it should be. I don't think we had a full grid just yet this season. The maximum is about 18, 17 people, so we're still looking to try and get a full house this season. But I'm really hoping for more later on as well. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 9 of Speed Force Racing, Season 18, and tonight we're about to go racing here in one of the most unpredictable and unforgiving street circuits on the calendar, the Baku City Circuit in Azerbaijan. We're nestled right here in the Caspian Sea shoreline in the heart of Baku, a city that blends modern skyscrapers with historic walls and medieval castles, and a circuit offers a breathtaking but brutal challenge to the grid. This track, you could dare say, is like Park Monaco, Park Monza, tight barriers, technical corners, but also the longest flat-out stretch of the year, where drivers will push north at 350 km an hour down the straight. Bravery and precision go hand in hand. There is no gravel traps, but also no room for mistakes either. You either thread the needle or you end up in the wall. And after a wet and wild race in Miami, where we return to dry conditions, but the tension is all anything but cool, Moanimo has snatched pole position by just half a tenth ahead of Fireblaze, who is still glowing after his emotional return to the top step of the podium last time out in Miami. His first win since Season 16 SFR Mexico Grand Prix. President Elite lies up P3 for Aston Martin, an impressive result after he continues to rise to the ranks, while championship leader Jensen starts P4 and absolutely determined to stretch his lead over his 3 closest rivals, Fireblaze, Moanimo and Veloce Jr., who all start alongside him inside the top 6. Keep an eye on Samid too. He's been quick and strong so far for Williams. Maybe in the last couple of races he's been struggling, but he's definitely showing some potential performance. And Veloce Jr. meanwhile has a lot of work to do from P7, still striking distance, but he needs a clean first lap to avoid the chaos Baku is infamous for. Further back, big names like Hurricane, Yusuf Farouk as well. are most likely to come to the field. And also, right at the start, don't ever discount him. He's always quick, but he lacks in race pace. So hopefully he can find something in the race to get back up there. So the sunset begins in Baku, and the lights will go out anytime soon. Here we go for the formation lap. 16 drivers taking part in this Grand Prix, and we'll see the tyre allocations then. So, quite a mixed grid in terms of tyre strategies, and MDJ being the outlier on the soft compound tyres. So, I expect him to go far in the race on those soft compound tyres, but you never know what Baku could do here around here. It always brings up some entertainment as well, and drama, that's for sure. I still think the 2017 Baku Grand Prix was the best race. Remember how we had loads of red flags. Well, I say loads, about 1 or 2 red flags in that race, maybe just one. Loads of safety cars. Hamilton and Vettel clashed in under a safety car as well, and he accused him of brake testing him as well. He got a penalty for that, and so did Hamilton. Hamilton had a headrest issue, hence why he had to pit. But it was Daniel Ricciardo who started P10 to finish P1. And also he had to pit very early because of and 2018 when Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo crashed, and also 2017 when Bottas finished P2 after being a lap down after making contact with Kimi Raikkonen in towards turn 2, gave Raikkonen himself a puncher, and they fell backwards during the race. And 1 year later, Raikkonen made contact with Ocon again, and Raikkonen was sent into the wall. So not been a good year for Raikkonen in 2017 and 18 in Baku. Then of course 2018 when Daniel Ricciardo and Verstappen in the race collided on the main straight. And of course it caused a flurry of pit stops. Vettel, who got a disadvantage because Bottas stayed out. Bottas had a puncher. Vettel locked up in towards turn 1. Hamilton won the race unexpectedly. And Perez finished in P3 as well after a fantastic race. Charles Leclerc finished in P6 on his rookie season for Sauber as well. But of course, 2021, where Max Verstappen had a tyre blowout, same with Lawrence Stroll. Then also the red flag came out. Hamilton went straight off the track by pressing the magic button, which didn't give much magic then, but hopefully none of the drivers do that in towards turn 1. There was that massive crash, wasn't there, in F2 in turn 1 in qualified. It was a yellow car. I think it was Fornaroli who made contact with somebody when he rejoined unsafe for the track. And that caused a massive crash as well towards turn 1. A very scary crash indeed. But here we go, then the lights will get away under very soon here in Baku. What's going to happen in the land of fire? It is bright and sunny here in Baku as the drivers get away for the start of the race. Fireblaze gets a decent start. He's alongside Moenima as we head down towards turn 1. But no, Moenima breaks later. Right outside he goes to maintain the lead of the Grand Prix. We're 2 by 2 behind us with Jensen and Preston Lee as we head down towards turn through this tight corner. Left hand, oh, contact, massive contact in the wall. And he's gone for a spin, unfortunately. Simon there, I think the car was involved too. He's a second backwards there as he tried to go down the inside towards turn 2. But unfortunately, there was no space given down the inside as well. Here we go in towards the breaker zone. In the left hand, and that's Yuta Shabak versus Yoram. As we go side by side, out of turn 3 we go. But looks like Yoram's got the edge. He's up into P5. Great start from him on the hard compound tyres. Here's Glock in a battle with Rise to Star as he go wheel to wheel out of turn 4. We go now coming towards this chicane. Oh, look at that Rise to Star. Breaks later. And Glock there looking to try and get back at him in towards turn 6 and turn 7. Glock is ahead. And Rise to Star dropping backwards. MDJ capitalised on the soft compound tyres. It's been a messy start so far. And Veloci Jr. is down into P16. A driver who has been involved in the championship fight. Unfortunately down towards 60th place and has huge hindrance on his championship aspirations too. He was hoping to bounce back after a difficult race at the Miami Grand Prix. But unfortunately here at Baku, he's dropped down all the way to 60th place. Could have huge consequences. He's left his teammate too, unfortunately, alone after being look at that, these guys sliding through turn 15 as well, but he's left his teammate out there alone against both RP drivers. Samit is up into P4 on the hard compound tyres as the RB goes off the track, just like Isaac Hadjar did in the Formula 1 race we had in Baku last weekend, where Verstappen took a dominant victory, of course, absolutely dominant from the Dutchman. Has 2 wins in a row since Laurie Mecki made his debut in Belgium. But here we go, then the Red Bull and Racing Bull going side by side. And Glock's up into P72. Massive station effect as we head down in towards turn 1, the heavy braking zone. Glock is ahead. Gags, however, is inside the top 10. Mega start there. He's up by 4 places, Gags, as well. And look in the background, that's the Williams of Havish and MDJ getting involved in the scrap for 10 plates as we head down towards turn 2, this 90-degree left-hander. And the DRS now is open for all these drivers as we head down towards another braking zone and another left-hander, 90-degree left-hander in towards turn 3. As Yusuf, in the wall goes somebody, it's Mercedes. Yoram is in the wall, and a few cars are losing traction at the exit of turn 3 as well, proving to be how difficult this track is. The top 3 are left alone to fight start for the Baku Grand Prix. It's Morinimo versus Fireblades versus Jensen. Samit has dropped away from a second there. He's 1.36 behind there. He's on the hard compound tyres, so expect him to struggle at this phase in the Grand Prix. Well, not struggle, but expect the medium runners to pull away, with the medium compound tyres being better than the hard compound tyres. But in the latter stages, that's where Samit should be better, and therefore claw back some time on the top 3. But breaking DRS as well around here is it's very important not to make the DRS around here because it's so difficult to get yourself back in there. The DRS zones are very long indeed, especially at the final corner towards turn 1. It's so important to stay within the DRS range and not lose it. But Samit is currently out of it. The gap is 1.4 seconds there between himself and Jensen in the Williams. But however, this is the highest he's ran so far in any Grand Prix since seasons ago. So Samit should be happy to be running in P4. Yusuf Shabayek is 2.4 seconds behind, and Glock's 2.1 seconds behind us. We had a chaotic start in this race. But here comes Fireblades versus Morinimo as we head down towards turn 1. He stays behind, not willing to make a lunge just yet. Jensen, however, is struggling in the background. He just lost a bit of momentum going down turn 1 there on the outside. But here we go between the Williams and the Red Bull. Havish is up into P8 ahead of MDJ, and behind us it's a battle between Yusuf and the Aston Martin. Elite's fallen down to P11. Oh yeah, he has. My bad, I missed that. Elite has fallen down into P11 there. So what happened to him? He must have get caught up in that first lap. Oh, what happened there? Somebody just hit the wall massively. Massive impact. Did somebody just put it there for wing? I'm not quite sure who hit the wall there, but luckily the driver who did or didn't just made it unscathed. But I heard it was so loud. I heard it in my headset. It was so loud. Oh my goodness. Yusuf Shabayek has left the session. Oh, what a shame. What an absolute shame there for the Red Bull driver. But we need to look what happened to President Elite because he started in P3. Now he's dropped into P10 or P11 now as MDJ has dispatched him. Oh, what a shame for President Elite there. So it was the first lap, and we're going to see what happened to him. Needs to go back on board with the top 3 here. His clock is about to make a move on the Red Bull who has left the session and ghosted and out of the race for the time being, but back towards the top 3 in the Grand Prix. I wonder if the Ferrari made contact with the Aston Martin. So let's see what happened going down towards turn 2. And the Ferrari, that was a massive contact there in turn 2 between the Ferrari and the Aston Martin. And it was Elite who got caught up in the incident. He fell backwards dramatically as well. And that's the reason why President Elite fell down into P10, because the contact going down towards turn 2 on lap 1 between the Ferrari of Flotchev Jr. and Elite. Fireblaze has been looking very racy so far, ever since his win, as now we've got a multi-car battle going on for P7 here. That's Gag trying to get past Havish for P7, as those two continue to squabble down towards turn 2. They're going to gain another place due to the expense of Yusuf Shabayek as well. The Red Bull driver who left the session, they got the DRS on the back of him, and they should be easy pickings for him. Now he's left the session. I don't think I can invite him back because I don't have him as a friend, unfortunately. Maybe I do, but I'm not quite sure if he's appearing online. I've got Yusuf Farouk, but not Yusuf Shabayek, unfortunately, so I can't invite him back, unfortunately. I'll tell you something though, Jensen is struggling to hold on to the DRS in the back of Fireblaze, his own teammate. Fireblaze has been pushing the Ferrari by the limits, but Jensen in the background here looks like he's struggling for the time being then. He does seem to be making small, subtle mistakes in the Grand Prix, but still in the back of him, as we've got the warning signs for connecting with online service, so hopefully nothing happens. But here we go then down the long straight. Fireblaze, I think he's just biding his time, waiting for the right opportunity in the Grand Prix, but at least Mo and Nemo will get a podium because Sam is quite far back in P4 unless something dramatic happens. But here we go, Fireblaze has the DRS in the back of Mo and Nemo. Is this contact on the main straight between those two as we head down towards Turn 1, but Mo and Nemo needs the brakes, he goes and stays in the lead of Grand Prix. Well, Fireblaze there, what on earth happened? Did he pull out too late and hit the back of Mo and Nemo? That could have been the case. Fireblaze just misjudging that. Or Mo and Nemo. I don't think he brake tested, no way. But here we go with the DRS wide open for Fireblaze as he looks to make another lunge going down towards turn 3, but bails out of it this time. So, luckily there, Fireblaze, at that speed with DRS wide open, could have gone straight to the wall with the lack of downforce on the straight with the DRS open, but luckily he didn't. So I'm so glad that he didn't go in the wall. As Harry Kane and P9 started side by side between those two as Gags hits the wall aggressively on the outside. He is a ghost as Harry Kane tries to get ahead of him whilst a ghost. He's inside of him now, and hopefully hopefully he becomes solid any time soon. They're still inside of each other, but now Harry Kane gets fully past and Yusuf Farouk is about to make his way through too. It looks like the Aston Martin didn't get damaged. Harry Kane goes deep in towards turn 8, but it looks like the Aston Martin did get damaged due to that, so luckily escaped from that. As we climb up the hill towards the end of the castle section here, this is a beautiful part of the track, the highest part of the track. The highest part of the elevation changes is up here before we go downhill towards turn 15. But the top 3 are comfortable in this position so far in this race. Sam is 2.7 behind, so we can't catch up towards the top 3 on the medium compound tyres. On board with Jensen though, like I said before, he's been struggling to stay in DRS range of his own team at Fireblaze. But I wonder if Fireblaze is about to make another move too. Let's go on board this time. And he finally gets ahead with no further contact. He's up into first place, but Mo and Nemo know he can settle into P2 and just follow Fireblaze. He knows he can follow behind and sit in the DRS of him. Got to feel sorry though because it's an Alpine sandwich as presently goes up into P6 ahead of the Williams. In the background, that looks like it's the Ferrari who goes from the inside. That's 3 abreast as the Ferrari goes in towards turn 1, overtakes him, goes a bit deep though. Will Yarm do a swish back as the Ferrari is lacking in end play as we head down in towards turn 2. That's the late lunge, and luckily doesn't do a Valtteri Bottas and Kimi Räikkönen back in 2018 where those two made contact, or 2017 actually, I think it was, because Räikkönen made contact with Ocon in 2018 at turn 3 at this corner here. That's Gags trying to go around the outside. There was barely any space given. He got squeezed against the wall, but luckily kept his nose intact and still keeps going. Barely any space given there between those two. Mo and Nemo sat in P2 just behind Fireblaze, but Fireblaze's pace has been so raw and so mighty, he could drop both these drivers out of his DRS range. He has such good pace as Fireblaze. Look at that, 9/10 of a second here at this particular part of the track as we head down towards the breaker zone where it's easy to scrape the wall on the outside. It looks like Mo and Nemo is struggling to stay in DRS range. Conversely, the same with Jensen as well in P3. They're both struggling to stay within each other's DRS range. And Fireblaze has almost broken the DRS out on Mo and Nemo. He's absolutely gunning for it on this lap to break away from the DRS, but Mo and Nemo will have DRS at the back of him, so he can't break away this lap, unfortunately for Fireblaze. And Mo and Nemo is so lucky there. He's got DRS down the back of Fireblaze because he used a lot of batteries to try and get within his DRS. I think it's very wise now for Mo and Nemo to save battery whilst he has the DRS on the back of Fireblaze, because evidently it looks like he's losing out in the middle sector. Is Fireblaze carrying a bit more downforce in that particular part of the track in towards the second and last sector? It could be the case, because like Mo and Nemo was 9/10 behind, all of a sudden he was 3/10 behind. But we know the DRS is quite powerful around here as Harry Kane overtakes the Williams. He goes up into P7 and Veloci Jr. goes up into P10 ahead of the Mercedes man. The pack has been pretty much separated. We've got a big field spread amongst the drivers. That's what happened. That's happened down towards turn 2 when 2 drivers made contact. I'm surprised with the impact he hit the wall with. I'm surprised that Veloci Jr. didn't lose his wheel because the impact was so hard. I'm surprised neither driver retired from that impact either. Of course, Oscar Piastri in turn 6 crashed unfortunately, and a lot of people saying that pressure was getting to him. I don't know, you know. It was a very rare mistake when Oscar Piastri had this. Well, obviously a rare mistake, but we did see ahead of Charles Leclerc. Lucky. And those kind of things for Oscar Piastri, we don't really see. He's like a cool, collected, calm driver in comparison towards Norris. Norris was knocked out of Q1 last season, wasn't he? And he made his way through back to finish in, what, P4, P5? I can't remember where it was exactly. But Piastri drove a stunning race because he put pressure on Leclerc, then Leclerc put pressure on him for the whole race and sustained it really well, kept the Ferrari at bay for the whole time and went on to win. But this season, a massive contrast as well. It looked like Piastri was just a rookie. He crashed in qualifying, jump start, and retired on lap 1. Something bizarre from Oscar Piastri, but we all know Piastri, he's a very strong driver, a high caliber driver, and I really hope that Piastri comes back stronger in Singapore as the Ferrari gets ahead of Yusuf Farouk. He goes up into P9. These two used to be teammates in Division 2, had a bit of drama and animosity between each other, but hopefully no drama here in Division 1 between these two. They crashed in Abu Dhabi at Turn 5 last season. A bizarre crash, which both of them end up in the wall together, but it looks like the Ferrari is up into P9 and makes its way through very cleanly as well. Jensen, though, is struggling to stay with the DRS range of Moe and Nemo. So it looks like Moe and Nemo Fireblades are just edging that gap to just over a second there and dropping Jensen off his DRS. I've noticed these small mistakes with Jensen when he's going out wide or losing traction at the exit corners. He has dropped out of DRS range, so he doesn't have the pace to contend with Fireblades and Moe and Nemo. Those two are pulling away, whilst Jensen is suffering to stay with the DRS range of those two ahead of him. So it could be a massive struggle for Jensen to get his 5th win of the season. Fireblaze has been an absolute charge since Miami. He's become a different driver so far. I don't want to jinx it too early, but Fireblaze, ever since that win, has really elevated him and lifted his spirits, and he looks like a different driver since the races ago, when he used to be so unlucky and miss out wins. But somebody has dropped his Hurricane. Who has dropped it? Where's that? It's in the wall. And is that a safety car, VSC? It's a VSC that's been deployed. There it is on the black box there. It says VSC. Now, are these drivers going to pit? Is this the right time to pit? Fireblaze has stayed out. Fireblaze has stayed out. Is that the right call to make, I wonder? Well, Moe and Nemo's pitted. Jensen's pitted too. I'm not quite sure if it's the right decision. We're about to find out. This is another set of hardcore power tyres for Jensen. I think the hardcore power tyres might struggle towards good. I think they can go towards in the Grand Prix, but they might struggle. So watch out for the tyre drop off there. As Rise and Star gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under VSC, as the rest of them make their way out the garage there. We're about to see if this is the right strategy call from Fireblaze. Usually people pit on the VSC, especially at this what's happened in the background there between the two Mercedes drivers. It looks like Yarm just lost traction out of turn 2. Right, the VSC has been deployed, and we've got a mixture of strategy now with Fireblaze staying out. You don't lose a lot of time under pit lane conditions, under VSC conditions, sorry. You lose about 11 seconds or something, not the full pit lane loss. So let's see what the captain leader is. It's about 16 seconds. So when Fireblaze does pit, Jensen and Moe and Nemo will get ahead of him, that's for sure. But I wonder if Fireblaze might just eke it out a little bit and do the offset strategy where the tyres are better towards the Grand Prix and therefore win that way. Because his pace has been so formidable so far, but Jensen and Moe and Nemo have taken the opportunity to pit last lap under the VSC, and I wonder if Fireblaze is just trying to eke out those mini compound tyres and get the advantage towards the end of the Grand Prix to have the better tyres towards the end. That could be the case for him. That's the only case for him now. It could be a case where Fireblaze just missed the pit lane entry, because the white lines there. Remember, Kimi Raikkonen got a 5-second penalty in 2016 when he cut the pit lane entry, but he wasn't pitted. He was in the slipstream with somebody else, but didn't pit. Then Sergio Perez was on the podium too. It was Rosberg, Vettel, and Perez on the podium that day, with Raikkonen pitted a penalty. So I think Fireblaze was super close towards the pit lane entry, but didn't want to cut the white line. Otherwise, he could have got a penalty for that. So that could be another reason why he didn't pit. And look at this: the two Mercedes versus the RB. The RB gets swamped and demoted down into P9, and he's on the mini compound tyres too. So that explains why he's lacking pace there against the people on the hard compound tyres. The two Mercedes goes through up into P7 and P8. There you go. And Velocio Jr. is still out there on the hardcore power tyres with a broken wing. There he is in the Ferrari with a broken end plate. It's not going to do any favours at all. He's had a broken wing since lap 1 with that contact going in towards turn 2. And he's had to live with it ever since lap 1 as well. So it's a painful race for him. Just has no downforce in the corners at all. Massive understeer for him. You know what, this is crucial too because Moe Jensen, so let's not forget that. Moe Nemo has still got good pace to beat one RP driver but not the other one. So keep an eye on the gap between Moe Nemo and Jensen because it's 1.6 seconds and the RP driver cannot catch the Ferrari driver. And I'm intrigued to see if Fireblaze's pace towards the Grand Prix is enough to try and beat these two. It's going to be super interesting in this Grand Prix. Let's see the gap to leader. It was 16.2, that's 40.6. So Fireblaze is losing a lot of time. But when he pits onto a new set of hardcore power tyres, will it do him any dividends later on in the Grand Prix or not? I'm not quite sure. But if he couldn't pit because of the white line being there, and if the VSC did come at the wrong time for him, it's not a pit lane. It's not a blunder for him. It's not a blunder strategy for him. But let's say, for example, if the VSC came out and he was about to enter the pit lane, then he was about to make his way towards the finish line, then it's a pit lane blunder for him. I'm not quite sure what the scenario is right now, but Jensen though is getting a lot of time in Moe Nemo. The gap's gone down to 9/10 of a second there, so he's got himself back in DRS range. Somehow the gap was 1.6, so I think Moe Nemo just made a mistake there. And I got Glock right in front of us too on the old hardcore power tyres. So this is Rising Star's retired. Where is he? It's in the pit lane, but I can't see him. He's just disappeared off the screen as Gags has entered the pit lane. But Rising Star just all of a sudden just disappeared off the screen. As Yusuf Shabak has left the session and Rising Star has left the session too, so he's out of the Grand Prix. Does anybody know where Rising Star was before he retired? Didn't quite catch that, unfortunately. There's Fireblaze on the mini-car power tyres, but I'm unsure about the strategy for him. There is a bit of lag as well, and in turn 16 he made a slight mistake at the exit of the corner there. He's on the mini-car power tyres, of course. Those mediums are now degrading ever so more, and they're going to suffer. I wonder when he's going to pit. I think Moe Nemo and Jensen can make it towards the end of the hardcore power tyres, but they may struggle just a little bit as Fireblaze has entered the pit lane then to complete his first stint on the mini-car power tyres. Here we go. Slow it down. Don't get a 10-second penalty because that will definitely ruin your race. And the Alpine crew get to work on Fireblaze's car. Samit though is pitting quite early. And that is a very early pit stop. He's broken his wing too for good measure. So where has Samit done that? As we see Jensen go through up into P3. He's well ahead of Fireblaze, but what about that tight offset? It's only about 3 laps the difference, but 3 laps does make a big difference. So he might catch him, he might not. It depends how good Fireblaze's pace is. So he rejoins in P4. The gap is 5.6. Sorry about that. Jensen's struggling to stay within DRS range of Moe Nemo in a second place. He's got Glock right in front of us. Glock is on the old hardcore power tyres, so I really hope they don't get stuck behind him for too long, because if they do, that'll definitely hurt their pace, and Fireblaze will be able to catch up between those two. Oh, be careful! You don't want to be making silly mistakes like that, Moe Nemo. You don't need these mistakes, mate. You could be very careful when stuck behind somebody in older tyres. You just need to overtake him easily, dispatch him and get rid of him, and focus with your own race. I've seen it plenty of times before where somebody behind you or somebody on newer tyres get caught up with somebody on old tyres and make contact. It's one of the... Oh, Glock there hits the wall. You can definitely tell he's struggling with the hardcore power tyres. And Samid's doing... Samid? I thought he just pitted, no? I swear I saw him pit. I have no idea what's going on. But anyways, look at this. Moe Nemo is right behind Glock, and so is Jensen. It's very important for these to get past with the DRS open for the back of the Ferrari car. It should be easy to get past him. DRS open for Moe Nemo. Here comes Jensen too. And Glock will get absolutely swamped on the straight. Moe Nemo goes up into first place. Jensen goes up into P2 side by side with Saber, but should easily out-traction him into towards turn 1 and get ahead of him before, and he does. Samid falls down the order once again, and he's in the pit lane again, so... Okay, that was very strange. This game is just full of bugs and glitches, this one. I'm very... Oh, he had a drive-through penalty, that's why. That's why he couldn't pit. He had a drive-through penalty. That explains everything. Because I remember him going to the pit lane, but he must have served his drive-through penalty, and that's why he drove straight to the pit lane with a broken front wing and old tyres still. So he's out of the Grand Prix. Apparently he's still there. Yeah, he's still there in the Grand Prix, but he has retired. So it's back towards Jensen versus Moenimo. Samid hasn't retired in the pit lane. He's... Okay, I have no idea what's going on. He's still on the track. He's still going. I'll tell you something though, Jensen has been struggling all race to stay within DRS range of Moenimo. He's got it on him now, but I noticed in the final sector where the gap goes up into a second, so Jensen really does struggle to stay within DRS range of Moenimo. Moenimo though is still under massive pressure, but Fireblaze is yet to come. There is still 12 laps left in this Grand Prix. The gap to leader is about 5.5 still, like it was before. So Fireblaze is in the background on newer tyres. Can he catch up? He had great pace in the first stint. He broke away from these two, but now he's pitted. He's got younger tyres, of course, but will he catch up? That's the question. He's catching up towards Glock. He should have no problem dispatching Glock, but when it comes to these two, can he catch up? That's the question indeed. Can Moenimo get his first win of the season? He's been waiting for such a long time. Of course, pit lane strategies hasn't gone his way, and blunders as well in the Grand Prix. Jensen though just dips in and out of DRS range all the time, and somebody's gone for a spin down there. It's a Williams or RB, or could be a Williams. I'm not quite sure who it is. Well, it is a Williams. He's stuck in turn 3. Sorry. So Moenimo once again gets that gap over a second. So it looks like every single driver here has strengths and weaknesses in different parts of the track. Jensen gets the gap over a second and back down again. So I'm not quite sure how he's doing it. Maybe his weaknesses and strengths are different compared to Moenimo. He just dangerously gets out of DRS range, but all of a sudden he gains it back in like turn 15-16. So it must be the middle sector where he's struggling, but in the last sector he's gaining. And here we go then once again on the straight. Should Jensen overtake Moenimo to prevent him from being out of DRS range? And now Glock has been overtaken by Fireblaze. He goes up into P3 ahead of the Brit. The Dutchman can set his sights on the two Brits ahead of him, of Jensen and Moenimo. Been a quiet race so far, 11 laps left to go, but of course there's still plenty of action left to come when Fireblaze... Will he catch up though? That's the question. That is the question we all need to know. Will Fireblaze... Is his tyre advantage good enough to catch the top two? It should be, but these two just holding their ground for the time being. I think they're working together. I don't think they're fighting too hard against each other because they know Fireblaze is behind them. So they're just following each other in each other's DRS range, not fighting side by side in towards the breaker zone, which allow Fireblaze to catch up. But look at the gap now. 4.1. It was 5.5 a lap ago. Now it's 4.1. So Fireblaze's tyre advantage giving him enough pace to try and get towards these guys. Right, so Jensen does struggle in the castle session. That's the particular part of the racetrack where Jensen struggles, but all of a sudden he gains it back towards 15 and 16. So it looks like the main weakness point for him is the castle session. As we now go through turn 15, another difficult corner here as well, but Jensen does gain time through here. Look at that, 2/10 gain in that corner alone. Jensen does like that corner a lot. I don't think Jensen has the DRS on him just yet, has he? He's super close to getting DRS range, but not close enough. And I think he's just out of DRS range, is Jensen. Is he? Let's have a look. Is the DRS open? It is. So he just gets himself with a DRS range. He's literally playing with fire here, is Jensen as well, just dipping in and out of of DRS range every single time is the RP driver. The middle sector is causing him problems through the castle section. Fireblaze, however, it must be so frustrated because Jetson gains a lot of time with the DRS on the back of Mo and Nemo as well. But Fireblaze is 4 seconds behind. There is 10 laps left to go in this Grand Prix. The top 2 as they are. But we know Jetson struggles in the castle session. That's where he loses a lot of time, but gains it back in towards 15 and 16. Maybe it's turn 8 where Jensen loses a lot of time as well, because he does get terrible exits out of turn 8, so something must be wrong with traction, with the exits he gets out of that corner. We need to go on board and see what he does through that particular part of the track. We're coming down to the corner where Jensen struggles the most, down here, in towards turn 8. He's down through second gear. All of a sudden he just loses a lot of time as well. But this time stays in the DRS range. I think he's more cautious going towards the castle section as well, is Jensen. I don't think he has a lot of confidence going to that corner. But Fireblaze has pulled the gap down to 3.6 seconds as well. So he is gaining slowly but surely. He's just in the background. He needs to keep chipping away the lap times here if he wants a chance of getting towards Jensen and Mo and Nemo. He's definitely gaining on the guys ahead, but only slowly though. But he keeps losing time on the straights, obviously, because Jensen has the DRS at the back of Mo and Nemo. I think these two are being very wise as well, not to fight each other, because they know Fireblaze is catching. So fighting each other means they're going to trip over their own toes and therefore lose a lot of time towards Fireblaze. So just playing it smart here for the time being. The long term, this is what exactly the long term effect means. It's like a high-speed game of chess. Just pick your moments at the right time in the Grand Prix. Thinking methodically at speeds around like 190 miles an hour around this circuit. The gap's 3.4 and now Fireblaze was super close to the wall in the exit of turn 2, so lost a bit of time towards Jensen there. Oh, Jensen goes deep! He goes deep! He's in the wall! Oh my goodness, Jensen's in the wall, and he's broken his own plate too. He just mistrusted breaker zone, just like it was back in Jeddah in turn 27. He does it once again. Jensen's in the wall, and he's lost his own plate. My goodness me, what disaster here for Jensen. He did the exact same thing in turn 17 in Miami, and we just caught on board with him. Fireblaze is up into P2 now. And Mo and Nemo does not have DRS at the back of anybody. The gap is 3.8 between Fireblaze and Mo and Nemo. Can Mo and Nemo get his first win of the season? Or can Fireblaze do the double and win 2 wins in a row? That was super close to track limits there from Fireblaze on the exit of the castle session. Oh, what a shame. And Glock. Well, not Glock's not going to be in the podium because he's still on the old hardcore power tyres. But President Elite could get the podium now. I don't think Jensen will pit because obviously there's no point pitting. You just have to live with it. He just has to live with it with that broken front wing, unfortunately for him. He'll definitely struggle with pace. And somebody else has become a cropper too. That's the Williams of Behavish, who's gone for a little bit of a spin down there in a bizarre place. We saw Nick de Vries hit the wall there. Oh, he locks up his ball, goes deep in towards the corner where Hamilton almost went off in the race. Right, it's a straight fight between Fireblaze and Mo and Nemo. Mo and Nemo is going to be under massive pressure now. That's one Alpine gone, but he's got to contend with another Alpine. Cashed him away or not. So what's the gap between Elite and Jensen? The gap is 12.12, so that's a long gap to bring down. That's a tall order. That's a tall order there for President Elite to bring down. So I don't think he's going to do it unless he gains like a second a lap, but he still needs more than a second lap to get him. So Jensen then has to continue with the broken end plate and has got to survive with 8 laps left to go in this race. Do you know what? Jensen's super quick, but he makes these rare mistakes as MDJ has retired and a safety car has been deployed. How on earth has he done that? That's where Verstappen crashed in 2021, but how on earth has MDJ done that? I really hope he hasn't done it on purpose. I really hope he hasn't done so. That crash will probably need explanation because, in all honesty, that is a very, very weird crash, I dare say. I don't think that man was in a battle with anybody. But he's crashed in the most bizarre place. Well, Jensen will be relieved from this. Fireblaze might be relieved from this as well. Yeah, Fireblade MDJ just crashed by himself. I'm looking at the stream, and the track map suggests he was on his own. So I'm not quite sure how he managed to do that. It's a first safety car has been brought out in the Grand Prix, and the VSC we had already. Moenima pits. It's a no-brainer to pit, and so does Fireblade. Just slow the car down. There's no need to pick a penalty through this tricky pit lane entry. And Jensen's ball has been gifted because this brings him back into this race. He could change his front wing and put on a new set of tyres as well for good measure, so it's helped him in his case. New set of hard compound tyres there. Is this a new set of hards for Jensen? As the crew get to work, it's a set of medium compound tyres there for Jensen and Moenimo. Fireblaze does not have a set of the medium compound tyres, that's why he's gone hard. So maybe the strategy was for him, medium, hard all along, depends if another safety car came out. But unfortunately there, MDJ's out of the Grand Prix, but Jensen has been brought back into this race. Moenimo, fair play to him. He sustained the pressure really well against both LP drivers, but there's still more work to do in the Grand Prix. There's still more defending to come from the Ferrari driver. The two Alpine have thrown everything against him, but Jensen as well. Does he have a chance to win this Grand Prix? Glock, it's up into P4. It's up into P4 as well, so that's worked mega there for Glock in P4. His long pace, longevity has done him due diligence in this race, and now he's on the mini compound tyres and can think about maybe getting a podium towards the end of the Grand Prix or getting a P4 result, which is still good for Kickstarter. So watch out for Glock as well in P4. So the safety car now galvanised the race because everybody for the first time since lap 1 will be brought back into contention, and this could be a dramatic one towards the end of this race. So watch out for this. This could get intense between all the guys here. Moenimo still going for his first of the season after so many missed opportunities in this race, in this season. Moenimo, Fireblaze or Jensen. Could it be Glock? It all depends what happens in the next upcoming laps of this race. But that crash from MDJ was bizarre indeed. He is on a wheel, so something must have happened to him. That crash from MDJ defies explanation, because it was such a bizarre one indeed, but well, it really has spiced up the race once again, with everybody brought back together for the first time in this Grand Prix. We had a massive field spread, but now everybody's been bunched up again on different tyres, hards, mediums. But we'll see what happens now towards the Grand Prix. Fireblaze and Jensen, the top two of the championship, are fighting for first place again. Fireblaze has had the better of his teammate in this Grand Prix. So MDJ has spoken, the man himself has spoken, and let's see what he has to say. Bro, I fucked up. Wanted to in pits, went too fast, hit the wall, and it deported me. Sorry, it teleported me in the middle of the track. Wow. So it looks like MDJ wanted to pit, and he crashed in the wall. Do you know what? I did talk about the pit lane entry, you know, how dangerous it can be in real life, because you have there such a high speed, and it's so easy to hit the wall on the inside there. So MDJ just took it too hot, and unfortunately just smashed into the wall. So MDJ, I want to apologise because I thought you crashed on the straight, because where your car was positioned, it looked like you just hit the wall hit the wall on the straight and retired. So my bad on that one. You got to understand, of course, from where I was sitting and from what I was seeing. When I saw the car in the middle of the track, I was like, how the hell did you crash there? Then I realised it was a pit lane crash, not an on-track crash. So my apologies there, MDJ. Hope you can forgive me. This will be a sprint race towards the Grand Prix, so I wonder how it all going to plan out towards the Grand Prix between all these guys. The two Alpines who are in a party together, but having to hunt down Moenimo. Where is Vlotchev Jr.? He's in P8 on the hardcore power tyres. So his race just pretty much ended on the first lap when he made contact on the back of President Elite. President Elite is still in P5, however. So I wonder if his podium chances will be reignited with his safety car. Or ignited, sorry, because he had great qualifying pace, but ever since lap 1, turn 2, his chances fell with it after making contact in towards turn 2, which gave him damage and unfortunately spun himself around. 38 drivers left in this race, 5 laps left to go, and we'll see what this race has to offer with this climatic ending. Can Moenimo get his first with the season? Can Fireblaze go 2 for 2? Can Jensen get his fifth with the season? Can Glock get his first win too? Or his second podium? Can Personally get his first podium? Can Jarl be up there too? I don't think he can because he's on the all-mini compound tyres, so he didn't pit. And Sabbath's still in this race. He is in P12, so big respect to Sabbath for staying in the race. Of course, chances of a safety car around here are pretty much high around here, with the walls closing in and with the walls being so unforgiving, it bites you. And unfortunately, it's very easy to crash around here too. We had so many crashes, didn't we, in back in qualifying, with 6 red flags. Unbelievable as well. That's the most recorded red flags in F1 history in qualifying. Surprisingly though, nobody crashed in the race. No, don't forget I said that. Oscar Piastri did, so just forget what I said. I do like this track though. It does invite a lot of chaos. It is quite unpredictable at times, especially back in 2017. Oh, spinner in the background, somebody spun! And it's Jarl who's gone for a spin, unfortunately. And he rejoins in P13 at the back of the pack as well, so yeah, that's really hurting. But there's 4 laps left to go after this one, and it's pretty much a sprint race towards the end of the Grand Prix, like it was back in 2021 when it was Hamilton versus Perez for the win. And oh my goodness me, there's penalties that have been given out too between 2 drivers. That's because of the yellow flags from Yarham. In the rules and regulations, you are allowed to overtake a slow-moving car, and he was in the wall, literally. So, but here we go, then the safety car restart. It's well and truly underway, and Moenimo leads, but the 2 Alpines close together as we head down in towards turn 1 we go. But Jensen's too far back to make a move on his own teammates in the back. And we can see the Ferrari making a move on the inside against Yusuf Farouk. Hard braking skills. He gets ahead of his former teammate in towards turn 1, but Yusuf Farouk is coming back at him in towards turn 2. The yellow flag's still out there as the Ferrari outbrakes him, going into contact with the wall. He hits the wall by himself, and he gets a 3-second time into 2. You know what? That's quite bizarre, getting a 3-second time into turn 2. It's literally a sharp left-hander. So how on earth can you pick up a 1 in there? As we head down towards turn 3, Adams is up into P7 too, so he gets gifted from that incident from Yusuf Farouk. But so far it is still Moenimo who leads the Grand Prix on the fresher medium rubber, which means he gets more grip in comparison towards Fireblaze. Fireblaze is almost a second out of DRS range there for Moenimo. It's looking good so far, but Jensen's still in the background. He scrapes the wall out of turn 8 as we head towards the castle session. And look at that, Moenimo is a second ahead. That is crucial for his race, to be a second ahead of Fireblaze. He can break the DRS. But let's see if both RP drivers work together, because Jensen is on the better medium compound tyres. So will there be a driver swap between these two to give Jensen the best chance of winning? And if that does happen, the driver swap has got to happen on the next straight, because Fireblaze is 1.3 seconds behind. Moenimo is stretching away, of course, so it's looking very good so far for Moenimo. But Fireblaze is under massive pressure. He doesn't have the grip on the hard compound tyres, where Moenimo does. The medium compound tyres were better in comparison towards the hards. Look at Glock and Personally still there too, in the DRS range of Jensen as well. It could be a factor in towards this Grand Prix as well. But Fireblaze could be under massive pressure from his own teammate. DRS has been enabled too, so Fireblaze is struggling with the hard compound tyres. There is grip, but not enough for him to keep up with Moenimo, and he's under threat from his own teammates as well. As we exit turn 2, we get... Fireblaze hits the wall at the exit of turn 2. How hard will he defend against Jensen? Jensen has the DRS at the back of his own team as we head down towards the 90-degree corner of turn 3. Jensen close, but not close enough. He stays behind for the time being. This is good though for Mo Nemo because the longer Jensen stays behind his own teammate Fireplace, the more Mo Nemo can pull away in the slow speed, high speed corners with the benefit of the hot medium compound tyre. So Jensen being stuck behind his teammate, not doing any favours for him. From the disappointments of last week, Mo Nemo was a lap down after doing a strategy blunder by pitting twice on the same tyres. But he's rectified his mistake today, but not just yet because there's still about 3 laps left to go to Grand Prix. Why is there a yellow flag out there still? That's still a glitch in this game. But there isn't a yellow flag, luckily for us, so we keep going. I don't think Fireblaze has got anything left in his disposal to use against Mo Nemo. Mo Nemo has pulled away ever since the safety car restart. And he's shown us some promising delivery pace. Look at Jensen again, struggling to stay within Fireblaze's DRS range. He just struggles in that middle sector, doesn't he? And the gap is 9 tenths per second as well. So Fireblaze has got some pace to defend against his own teammate. But we're going on to lap 24 out of 26. The window is right there for Mo Nemo. There is 3 laps left to go in the Grand Prix after this one. Look at this. Personally, is side by side with Glock. And he gets ahead. He puts himself up into P4 ahead of the Sauber driver. It's a great comeback drive after what happened going down towards turn 2 on lap 1 against Veloci Jr. in P6. Great recovery drive so far. Maybe the podium, but that's a bit too far away. He's out of the DRS range as Yaw was retired in the pit lane. Has he? I don't think he has. So he's disappeared off the screen there. But does Pizzoli have the DRS at the back of Jensen? He doesn't. But here comes Jensen, the 2 RP side by side in towards turn 3. It's super close there, but Jensen gets a better exit. And he puts himself up into P2. Great lunge there from Jensen. That was super close there. Fireblades almost in the wall there. The 2 RP drivers are in the championship fight against each other. Alpine lead the constructors like they were last season with Racing Imola and also Caname. The 2 RP drivers work well together, Caname and Racing Imola. But this time, in the Alpine, is Jensen and Fireblaze. Look at Fireblaze, gets a horrible traction out of turn 8 there. Massive wheel spin. And Presley is right behind 2 for the taking. Remember, Jensen does struggle on this particular part of the track. I don't think Jensen can catch Mo Nemo. Mo Nemo's got to keep it nice and clean. The victory is almost in his sights. But we know how quick Jensen can be. As we exit turn 15 and 16 we go. Fireblaze this time around will have the DRS at the back of Jensen. Remember, these two are fighting for the Drivers' Championship. First and second place as Jensen gets a bit of a wobble on out of turn 16 there, which would give Fireblaze all the impetus he needs to get close to him and re-overtake him for P2. And let's see what happens going down the main straight. Will Jensen defend from this? Can Fireblaze get ahead once again with the DRS wide open? Only 40 points separates the championship. But here comes Fireblaze on the back of his own teammate. They're both derated to save a battery for the most crucial part. And Fireblaze is back up into P2 ahead of his own teammate. In the background, though, it was Ferrari who got ahead of Glock. He puts himself up into P5. But look at Elite. Elite is still there in P4. Watch out for him. But the disappointments on lap 1. Oh, somebody just went on straight on the track. Or did they? Was that my eyes deceiving me? I thought somebody just went straight on at turn 2. But that was my eyes deceiving me. Must got a bit too excited there. President Elite today thought he had no chance of a podium after what happened on lap 1, turn 2. But this evidence shows us why he should never give up and stay in the Grand Prix, because chances like these still rise. With safety cars, other people's misfortunes, he's still there for a chance of a podium. In the background now, a few people getting all out of shape in towards turn 7 there. Some people struggling. But could President Elite get on the podium? Might be a bit difficult because there's a bit of a roadblock in front of us with 2 Alpines there of Fireblaze and Jensen. I really hope Elite does get a podium because he deserves it, but which one will it be? Mo Nemo, though, has kept that gap 2 seconds, so great job there for Mo Nemo to keep that gap at 2 seconds where he needs it to be, because he's on course to win this Grand Prix. Here we go then with the DRS wide open for Jensen. The back of his teammate is too far behind to make a move going down in towards turn 1. But there's still plenty of chances down towards turn 3 and possibly out turn 16 as well. It's the last lap of the Grand Prix. The king of Baku is about to crown a king once again. The streets of Baku are about to crown a king once again after 26 intense laps. weaving through the castle walls, skimming past unforgiving barriers, and surviving drama all around. Moenimo, the man in red, who emerges from the chaos as the leader on the final lap of this Grand Prix. But the gap's gone down to 1.4 seconds though, so you might have to watch out because Fireblades is ramping up the pace and he's on the charge. He's gaining, but will it be enough? Can Fireblades get himself with DRS range on Moenimo? If he gets a DRS range, it could be under massive pressure on the last lap, on the last straight, I meant to say. But look at Personal Elite, he's right behind Jensen as well. Watch out for him. Jensen at DRS range. Will Fireblades give Jensen DRS? But he's in a bit of a precarious situation because he's trying to get DRS the back of Moenimo. He's in DRS range. Fireblades is in DRS range, and Personal Elite is in DRS range too with Jensen, so watch out for him on the line. It could come down to the wire between Elite and Jensen. Jensen's under massive pressure, but here comes Moenimo. Bit of a mistake towards 15 and 16 there, but Fireblades is 8 tenths behind, pushing really hard in these corners. And here we go, out of turn 16 today. Moenimo has survived the pressure of Fireblades, survived the chase of Jensen, held his ground through 2 safety cars, and down the 2.2 coming straight he goes, the longest on the calendar. He's just corners away from glory, but Fireblades with DRS wide open. I don't think he'll get him. He won't get him. He might get him. No, he won't. As Moenimo wins the Grand Prix. But look at this. Personal Elite is far behind Jensen, and he just missed out there by a tenth of a second. Moenimo wins the Baku Grand Prix. Fireblades is in P2. Jensen survives in P3. Elite almost got Jensen for his first put this season in P4, fortunately for him. But the Ferrari driver has been flawless today. Started on pole and won the Grand Prix. No glitches, no heartbreak, just pure focus, determination, and kept the pressure really well as well. Handled the pressure really well, not to bottle up. Fireblades finished in second. He threw everything at it, but couldn't quite make it 2 for 2. And Jensen, the championship leader, rounds up the podium to finish solid points for Alpine. And this race belongs to Ferrari. Finally, the first race of the season for Ferrari. It's been a long time coming, and it's Moenimo who gets it. He's been very strong since Australia, and from the glitches in Miami to victory here in Baku. Yes, he's won legitimately this time. It's not a fake victory, but I'm so glad he's done it. The drives have been inverted for the podium interviews, and what a race it's been once again at the streets of Baku. Never fails to deliver, does the land of fire at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. The drivers will join the podium interviews shortly, as we can start from Jensen. He finished in P3, so Jensen on the podium once again, consistent with the podium so far, but the championship is getting close between yourself and Fireblades, and a mistake going down in towards turn 3 there. You just outbroke yourself, and that's been quite common this season, hasn't it? Down at turn 17 in Miami, down at turn 27 in Saudi Arabia, and also turn 3 in Baku as well. So you made a lot of mistakes today, but luckily the safety car came out and you were able to get yourself back in the fight today. How do you feel about this race?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, it still would have been P3, hopefully. I mean, looking at the gap behind it, should have been alright. I mean, it made the car more stable, actually, a little bit of damage, but yeah, the safety car definitely threw me back into it, but yeah, I didn't have the pace to keep up with, I mean, I managed to get into his DRS on the second stint, but it was just, yeah, he was, like, right on the edge of breaking DRS, like, every single lap, so yeah, it was very hard to keep up with him. But I was kind of on that final like thing. I was like waiting for Fireblades to kind of gain the pace on the hards. It took a little bit of time though. I think he slowed down to keep me in DRS a little bit though, but he also had no battery, so he might have lost a little bit. Then I think he would have lost a few tenths, which I don't know if that make or break his race today, but yeah. It's unfortunate I was so close. He could have got another one, but I mean, deserves this one. Um, driven really. Goodness.
I've seen you struggle as well in this Grand Prix because you kept hopping in out of DRS every single lap as well. The gap was like 9 tenths, was back up to a second, then down to 9 tenths. Were you struggling in general out here in Baku? Was you pushing really hard to get yourself back in DRS range every single lap? Because it seems you're just on the bubble every single time.
I don't know. I was super slow through the middle sector. I was losing like at least 3 tenths through the castle section each lap to Amin or Fireblaze. So I don't know what I was doing wrong. Maybe not being committed enough, or whatever. Braking zones as well. I don't know if we're probably braking too early or whatever, but yeah. I liked that turn 3 instant I had. I don't know, I was just knew about it the whole race. I knew I was going to fuck up and like go off onto the escape road, or like either be into the escape road or end up hitting the wall, and I ended up hitting the wall. Fortunately not too much damage, but yeah, it's one of those ones. Like the brake marker boards are so tricky to see with the time of day it was, but yeah, you can't really change those things. You kind of have to adapt to them. But yeah, that was my race pretty much in a summary, trying to get the braking zones right and all that.
And you must have been very nervous on the last lap of the Grand Prix because Fireblaze was right behind Nemo with the DRS on him, and you didn't have DRS at the back of Fireblaze. He checked out on you, and Elite was only about 5-6 seconds behind you on the hardcore powered tyres, which preferably was the better tyre towards in the Grand Prix with the mediums fading out. So was you thinking that Elite might get you towards the end on the line?
If he was close enough, yeah, but I just tried saving as much battery as I can through the final lap, and about half a second, 6 tenths or so as I went onto the straight, so yeah, I was just about a safe gap. If there was a tenth less, or if it was a bit more straight, you would have got me, but just managed to survive in the end for that one.
And congrats on P3, mate. How do you feel for the Dutch GP next week as well? Because that track, I think as well, high speed session, a lot of pressure as well, loads of corners, tyre works be quite high. So, what's your feelings for that?
Yeah, I don't know really. It's not. I don't think it's one I've raced on this. Actually, no, I have, but it's not like, yeah, it didn't really end up very well. I'm not very confident around there. So I mean, yeah, just take what we can out of that.
And you and your teammate as well. Last season, Kaneem and Racing Imola were together in the Alpine, but we never really saw those two fight or be close together throughout the whole season. And if they was, then Racing Imola would always help Kaneem in terms of giving him DRS, whatever. But this season, though, is that the story is completely different. The narrative has shifted a lot this season with Alpine in terms of 2 new drivers, but still first place in the constructors and 1-2 in the drivers' championship as well. This time, it's you versus Fireblaze, Mo Nemo, and Velocio Jr. as well. So you and your teammate obviously in the party together, and how well are you two getting along as well? Do you think that one point in the season where you two could come into contact and might have to like not talk to each other during the season with the intensity of the championship?
No, I doubt that. I doubt that happened. I mean, we raced alright there. I mean, I probably made a move which cost us time in the end, but I don't know. Like, if I was going up the inside, I thought you might have backed off, but no, we were fighting there. And yeah, well, managed to get past. It was only to try and either gain as much time on the mediums as possible, but also try and stay away from Elite as much as I can. But yeah, in the end, he was always going to have the like better grip at the end. Like, there's no chance I'll defend that. I'll be able to defend him. I know that. So, like, there's not really much else I could do there. I was just trying to do what I can. Yeah, get whatever positions I can.
Thank you very much, mate, and congratulations on P3. Another podium added to your tally as well.
Yeah, thank you, and cheers for the comms as always, mate.
Thank you, mate. Moving on to P2, it's Fireblaze once again, and striking distance of a victory, but unfortunately just got away from me at the end of the Grand Prix as well. The hardcore power tires after the make sure your voice will share as well. The hardcore power tires just didn't give you enough grip on enough push, did they? Because Moen Nima was able to break out the DRS range immediately after the first safety car, and then he just struck away as well. So how do you feel about that race, Fireblaze?
Well, I mean, like in the first stint it was quite alright, and then before the second we had the virtual safety car, of course. Then I stayed out a bit longer. Then I got the tire advantage, and I was gaining slightly each lap, and eventually I was going to have a pretty nice tire advantage towards the end, of course. But then, of course, the safety car came out, which kind of ruined my race in general, in my opinion. But it's whatever, it happens. So, but yeah, I chose the harder compounds. So basically, I was forced to go onto the hards as well in the safety car period, which did give me better grip at the end, but in the beginning I was just struggling for temperature, and the brake bias wasn't working all too well as well. But yeah, I mean, towards the end I did get close to Mo. I don't know how much ERS he had at the end, because I just saw him flashing as well, like across the entire start-finish straight, so maybe if I saved a bit more, then I could have got him, but yeah. It's just wondering what could have been, and yeah. Just nothing else I could have done, I think.
I think this season as well, you're really racking up the points, more podiums, and getting closer to wins every single time as well. You've been more aggressive, and the pace has been better as well in comparison towards last season when it was you versus Kaneem in the Alpine versus Ferrari, like it is this season. So the exact same thing. But in terms of championship, you now get closer towards Jensen. Jensen in first place, and with your pace being better as well, do you feel like you're more confident now going towards next coming races, because your pace has always been there, except from the odd race like in China or like in Bahrain and Monza as well. But Monza, your race was ruined in the first few corners with that incident between, I think it was one of the Ferrari drivers. But do you feel more comfortable now in next coming race, knowing your paces and knowing there's another shot at the championship like there was last season?
Well, of course I'm more confident, but I think the last couple of races just suited me a lot better, and yeah, just kind of disadvantaged the rest in some sort of way, I think. I don't know what I have, but yeah, these tracks I quite like them. But yeah, I guess I'll just have to see for next week. I do have a bit more confidence going into it, of course, because, well, I've been quite rapid, but yeah, I don't know for sure, to be fair.
The Dutch GP is your home Grand Prix next week. How do you feel for that one, mate?
Well, honestly, I don't know how strong I'll be. I hope to be pretty strong there, and yeah, get a good result. But it'll probably be where I'll have to. Yeah, Jesus.
It's okay.
It will be determined where I qualify, basically, because it's quite difficult to overtake as well as Zandvoort. So if I can have a good qualifying like today, for say, then I think I'll be set for a good result again. But yeah. There's no way of actually knowing with my pace sometimes.
Success, mate, for the next race in Zandvoort, and congrats on P2 today.
Thank you.
Geen probleem. It's funny as well, Fireblaze, that next week on Wednesday, it's Zandvoort, yeah? Then on Friday, I'll be commentating for a Dutch event again, but in real life. Yeah.
Double Dutch delight.
Double Dutch delight. One in real life and one online. So yeah, completely different experience. But yeah, thank you very much, Fireblaze. And moving on to the race winner, his name is Moen Nima. And your first race of the season back in Australia, you definitely showed us some great pace, and you finally got the win. You finally won this race, and after a fake victory back in Miami to a real victory here in Baku, you must be absolutely delighted, because you sustained the pressure really well against both Alpine drivers. But Jensen and Fireblaze hot on your heels for the whole race, but you sustained the pressure really well. And finally, Ferrari got the first win of the season. You must be absolutely delighted with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't come here expecting to win, especially with my teammate qualifying a bit further back. But yeah, I thought a podium would be enough, but I'm surprised I won this race, I'll be honest.
You're actually surprised you won this race?
Yeah, so this is actually my second day on a new wheel. I've upgraded from a G29 to a direct drive now, so honestly I wasn't expecting it to even be on the podium if I'm being honest, but yeah, I'm pretty surprised to be here.
Yeah, last week at the Miami Grand Prix, unfortunately, a pit stop blunder which cost you dearly in the Grand Prix because you were up there, but unfortunately you did two inter-stints. Well, it's then the hardcore pad tires. Then you got glitched because we had no idea where you were. We couldn't track you on the driver track. Unfortunately, you disappeared completely. So we had no idea where you were in Miami. But this season, with a mixture of podium as well and up and down results across the season, I think you've done a really good job as well this season. But you and your Ferrari teammate have had like pit stop blunder strategies, etc., and missed opportunities. Now moving forwards after Baku, do you really think you can piece everything together and try and catch these two RP boys?
Maybe. This is my first like league that's pretty competitive, so I am pretty inexperienced. I think a lot of the blunders have been down to that. Sometimes I pick fights where I should just take it easy. I think Bahrain was a good example where I was fighting Jensen too hard. You actually mentioned it on the comms. So it's just these small things that if I can just change them, just take it easy a bit more. I think yeah, me and my team should be able to piece things together. He's a lot more experienced than I am. But yeah, I think we do make a good duo, but we just need to start piecing it together from here on.
Just a mixture of results there for you and his team. Velocio Jr. unfortunately had his troubles at a turn 2 lap 1, so unfortunately he couldn't get involved in the fight there, and he was wingless on almost the whole race up to the safety car period too. So it's a shame for him. But if you two are together on the track, what sort of teamwork goes through your heads? Do you work well together as a team? Do you discuss the strategies? Do you try and work together, try and get both Alpine boys?
Yeah, so we have been working together since Australia, where we got that P2 and P3. So we'll do our best until we can essentially just fight each other. So yeah, the important thing is just qualifying well. If we can qualify as high as possible, we can work together. We did that in Monza for the earlier period of the race until I made that bit of a blunder, pitting too early. But yeah, we do work together pretty well. And I'm sure it'll carry on. We used to be rivals in a previous league. We don't have a good history, but it's been pretty good so far.
And it's and you wasn't here last season, obviously, but this season is like a carbon copy of last season, where it was Ferrari versus Alpine, and for the Drivers' Championship, it was a Ferrari versus Alpine again. So it's happening again. History's repeated again, but luckily, both teammates are there this time because it was like a one-sided fight between one driver in Alpine and one driver for Ferrari. So luckily, both teammates are there this season, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And I can't wait to see what happens for the remainder of this season. It could be very interesting to see what happens between Ferrari and Alpine, how you four will work together and determine the outcome of the race. How do you feel for the Dutch GP next week?
I have no idea. I don't think I probably raced it like twice on this game, but yeah, I'll just take it as it goes. Just put in a few hours and hopefully get a podium. I'm not expecting a win, but yeah, let's see how it goes.
Well, congratulations, mate. From the downside in Miami, from the glitches and bugs, to the upside here in Baku, you finally delivered at the line of the rising sun. So congrats to you, mate. Well-deserved victory and really good job defending from both Alpines for the whole race under massive pressure.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you, mate.
You're welcome. So that is it then, the top 3. Fireblaze, Moenimo and Jensen. That is your top 3 of the Baku Grand Prix. We'll see you all for the Dutch GP next week on Wednesday at 7:30. Join us back for Division 1 then, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye for now. It's been a great race here in Baku once again, and we move over to the Dutch GP in Zandvoort.